शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षधैर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितैर्यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मनो हि द्विविधं प्रोक्तं शुद्धं चाशुद्धमेव च शुद्धं कामसङ्कल्पं शुद्धं कामविवर्जितं मन एव मनुष्याणां कारणं बन्धमोक्षयोः बन्धाय विषयासक्तं मुक्तं निर्विषयं स्मृतं यतो निर्विषयस्यास्य मनसो मुक्तिरिष्यते अतो निर्विषयं नित्यं मनः कार्यं मुमुक्षुना निरस्तविषयासङ्गं सन्निरुद्धं मनोहृदि यदा यात्यात्मनो भावं तदा तत्परमं पदं तावदेव निरोद्धव्यं यावद्धृदि गतं क्षयम् एतज्ज्ञानं च ध्यानं च शेषो न्यायश्च विस्तरः नैव चिन्त्यं न चाचिन्त्यं न चिन्त्यं चिन्त्यमेव च पक्षपातविनिर्मुक्तं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा. Now this is no, we haven't done that yet. Yeah, this one we are on. That we'll do that in the next class perhaps. Let's see how far we go. Okay. So, ever so often in the Upanishads, we have a kind of it's quite customary to encounter a curved ball. What is that called? Curved ball? Yeah, this is a curved ball. Because we were proceeding on we were getting very complacent with the mind, with the discussion of the mind rather, which is far from complacent. Mind does all kinds of antics and it's all over the place. But still we said, okay, the mind has to be nirvishaya. And what is nirvishaya we talked about. It's not that, it's not the stoppage, sanniruddham, it's not the stoppage of the thoughts, but the management of the longings and the disconnection of the longings from the objects of desire, and objects includes people, situation, events, etc. And then reconnecting those longings to its real place, the source, which is oneself. That is what the whole thing was we have been doing. And then, the feeling is, yeah, I think I got it, because yada ayati, that's where we concluded, atmano bhavam, okay, one's authentic nature and one's quote-unquote true self. This is another, what is that called? Sickness in the spiritual world. True self, false self, and what else? Self with a small s, self with a big S, all these things. There's only one self, okay? Yeah. And so you cannot say true and false when there is only one. For any true or false questions, there should be at least two options available, but here there is only one. And so you can say a false identification with everything anatma, that's a different thing, but there's only one self. And so we saw how that the authentic self is something that I can, that is a twofold understanding. We understood it in a twofold way. One is having or cultivating authenticity in my daily practices, in my daily, what's the word for it, engagement with the duality from the standpoint of authenticity, understanding, acceptance, more compassion. We saw all this. And then reducing subjectivity, ultimately on the paramarthika level, that is authenticity. All this we saw. And then yada ayati, when this happens, what happens? When I am more in touch with myself, then tada tat paramam padam. That paramam padam, okay, then you gain that which is the ultimate. Interestingly, what that ultimate is not given in that verse. This is so that everyone comes to class the next day. That's why everybody is here today. And, this is the whole idea. So that, it's the Upanishadic cliffhanger, the first reason why it is a little intentionally vague. In what number was that? Verse number 7? Yeah, 7. No, 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5. What was that, 5 or 6?
6. 4 is where Paramampadam.
Yeah, Paramampadam 4, correct? And then it was also talked about how this Paramampadam is both the means and the ends. Etad jnanam cha, dhyanam cha. This ultimate, thing that I want is the goal, and it's also the means. How can that be possible? How can it be both the practice and, the sadhana and sadhya? It can only be possible when that vastu is you, correct? Seeker is you, sought is you. Seeker means practice, sought means goal. So therefore, since the subject and object are one and the same, object is, the object of the subject is none other than the subject itself, and the object of the spiritual, whatever life is also oneself. So there is the abhinnata, meaning there is no separation between the means and the goal. And so the complacency can set in. Oh, Paramam Padam, yeah. Last time I checked, I am authentic. Yes, there is, Atma is rising up, bubbling up, because all the desires are being managed. Yes, I'm there, and I am this Paramam Padam is being gained. In fact, I saw it in a dream last night. In fact, I saw it in my meditation in the form of yellow light, blue light, Amritabindu Upanishad, yellow light, blue light, all these things. And one person says, another person says, I didn't see it, I heard it. Oh, what does it sound like? It's just beyond description. It is in fact a soundless sound, anahata. Anahata means a sound that is not heard. Scratch your head right now. That's the only response to this. You heard an unheard sound? That's right. So, is that which is unheard, can it be called a sound? That which is unheard, can it be called a sound? Well, don't split hairs. These are all very esoteric things. Brahman, we are not talking of Brahman yet. The goal is very subtle. So I heard the soundless sound. One person says, I saw the sightless sight. And so all kinds of funny ideas about the nature of this Paramam Padam that was described earlier as both the practice and the object of the practice, the goal, as that non-separate, the abhinnata between the practice and between the seeker and the sought, between the practitioner and the goal, all that was described, but it is still shrouded in vagueness because this mind was recently restrained and disciplined. And it won't take much time for it to go awry and start imagining things. Not much time at all. All you have to be doing is sitting and waiting in the doctor's office because there is time there. And then you can't read the magazines because they're 1 year old, all of them. And in every doctor's office, I don't know why, but it's from Purva Janma. All the magazines are from last life. Okay, so you don't have any interest in reading them. And they're all dog-eared and torn and everything. So you're left to your own devices. Then you start imagining, and the mind just doesn't take much time at all. All you need is some free time. And the mind makes great use of it. And then, and depending on the personality, you could have rearranged all the interior decor of the doctor's office, or you could have, replaced the doctor and run your own practice, because what do they know anyway? Or you could have, been, dreaming or fantasizing about cleaning up the politics just in time for these elections. So many things are possible. It's a rich, the mind is very fertile, doesn't need miracle grow at all, because it grows upon itself miraculously. And the mind is best at the only thing it knows. And it's interesting, we have a nice little synergy going on between, what is that afternoon one? Panchadashi, and this one. There also, the job of the mind is being described where we are. There also we are in the 6th, 7th verse. Here also, it's just going along in tandem. So the mind is described as having nothing else to do but objectify things. Because that's what it does in its spare time, and even when it has no spare time, that's the only thing that it knows how to do. It makes a few boxes and sorts out things according to categories, and it writes in permanent marker what those categories are, indelible. And how does it decide what categories they are? Based on previous raga dveshas. That's all. Those categories are not objective. So it's not just 2 trays, raga dvesha. That would be infinitely easy to manage. Many trays based on the raga dveshas, and so many trays, and then that's all it knows how to do. Then Paramam Padam is not spared of these categories. Why should it be spared? What is so special about the ultimate goal? Why cannot I try to categorize it and put some frills and make some little scallops around it and then present it to the world? I have gained this knowledge. How? Apne aap, standing under the shower, I just got this knowledge. Or I was just, and there are so many, these apne aap stories are very amusing. So one person says like that, another person says that this is the latest fad. I had an NDE. What is NDE? Near death experience. Everybody has had, You talk to anybody, you catch hold of a fellow on the street, and they will have also had near death experience. This is in fashion, to have just, what should I say? Just exchanged a handshake with Lord Yama, but you have to come back. Otherwise, it's not seen as a valid NDE. And then what happened? This is all these, so-called spiritual, whatever. Quote unquote enlightenment stories. There may be some truth to it, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people are overusing this rhetoric. And so, what is that? Now, the thing is some sickness or some accident or something like that, and then the pulse stopped. What else stopped? Heart stopped, breathing stopped, of course, and then the subtle body of this jiva hovered around the gross body and saw people, crying over this body, saw the paramedics doing CPR, saw the body being bundled into the ambulance, taken to the emergency ICU, and saw people working on it, and then came back. And when the next paddle was done, came back. And in that time that it was having this out-of-body experience, the person developed great vairagya for the body, because they understood that the body is impermanent, and had a new understanding, not just of the relationship to the body, but the relationship to the whole world, and how love and forgiveness are the twin packs that are going to help one along this journey. Nothing wrong, like I said. And if it may be a true experience in a few cases, it may be true that the person develops vairagya and towards the body and comes back, and then understands this. What I'm talking about is those experiences taken to the next level of being shared with humanity as the ultimate. This is the ultimate, and this is how you get there. It's all because of me and because I had this out-of-body experience. And then they will say, I approached a white light. So the white light becomes Paramam Padam. And of course, nothing is said about the fact that the white light rejected and sent this fellow back. White light should have said, okay, come. This loving, all encompassing white light, whatever it means. White light, yellow light, blue light, color is based on whatever, coloration. So the white light should have embraced, but the white light sent this person back. Of course, their story is sent this person back with a message, and that give this message to the whole of humanity. You see how one person, the person has inserted themselves as the messenger, And so this way, there is this, there's a lot of books, CDs, DVDs about what this Paramam Padam looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, And this is, approaching very much the danger zone, and all the work that we have done with the mind in the first 5 verses is threatening to be undone. And so the Upanishad thinks, at this time, the Guru here, teaching the Upanishad, thinks it's time to send the mind on another spin. Because the mind should be kept dancing all the time, and dodging this categorization, this penchant for categorization and this categorical thinking. And so here the teacher, throws in a very, what's the kind of a curved, deliberately mesmerizing verse. What is that? Well, let us take a look at it. And also, the teacher uses this verse to elucidate and elaborate further what this Paramam Padam is. It's not your own, Manorajya. Paramam Padam is not your spiritual fantasy, your spiritual romantic fantasy. This white light, this yellow light, this green light, or this sound. I've told you, in meditation, when a sound comes, that means you're hungry. Kuru, 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 kuru. That's what it says. It's digestive juices announcing it's meal time. Stop meditating, you eat your breakfast. That's all it is, So, the whole thing is very important to not come into this temptation, not come under the spell of trying to make it into an object. And it's very, very easy. Very, very easy. And many people, even the so-called teachers with fly-by-night operations, they also cannot. With a fly-by-night operation means without precedent, without parampara, without sampradaya, without the weight of the lineage which makes the teaching extremely safe. Without that, it is just anyone's fantasy. Anybody can say anything, And so this verse stands as a corrective to those tendencies, and also it at the same time it takes the time to elaborate what this Paramam Padam is, because if it doesn't elaborate that, then the Paramam Padam is as good as my own imagination. Each one can imagine, each one of us sitting here can imagine what is Paramam Padam and then have a potluck and discuss what it is. No, I think it's like, this is not about what you think. It is about what it is. It is something to see. It is something to understand. See means it's something to get. It's something to understand. It's not a matter for discussion. That you are limitless is not a matter for argument or discussion. How are you going to discuss? Oh, well, I'm more limitless than you. That makes no sense, okay? How are you going to argue? Well, I don't agree that I am limitless. You will only look bad. That's all. So, this is it's an important verse coming at a time where that complacency can just set in, seeing as we have entered the discussion using one's own mind, using our own mind as the topic of the discussion. We have entered it and the mind feels very nicely lulled into this complacency. Yes, I am nirvishaya now. Now, since all the objects have been chased away and the longing for them also, now I have a new object, which is this Paramam Padam. I am going to play with it, throw it in the air and catch it and juggle it. I am going to name it. I am going to make some notations and I am going to write a thesis about it. The mind is feeling jubilant. This is a little bit of cold water thrown. And this is how the verse goes and makes the mind completely befuddled. That's the whole idea. Mind means pramata here, mind you. Yeah, mind here means the knower, the one who is sitting behind the mind and approving of all its objectification and antics. That is the one that has to be reined. And the knower is always a know-it-all. And you meet people sometimes who you start saying something, I know. But how do you know what I know? How do you know what I'm going to say? I already know. I think we should, I know. And then this is how, this is how the person is. They say, I know, before you can even open the mouth. And that's how, can't fault them, because that's how the mind of everyone is. That's all it is. I know, it's about the person is a know-it-all, an inner know-it-all. And this inner know-it-all is given a slight thwack on the head. Sit down, you don't know anything. And so, therefore, this is a nice pun on the word chintya. Chint, 10th conjugation, chintayati, or te, chintayate, chintayati. 10th conjugation verbs go both ways. And so chint, to consider, to meditate, to contemplate, to think about, to have an opinion, to objectify. You see so many things, so many meanings. Chint. Okay? So chint is the root verb. Chintya, the ya here, is a pratyaya. Pratyaya means what? A suffix that gives it several meanings. Again, one meaning is chintana yogya chintya. worthy of chintanam. Chintanam here means contemplation, thinking about, enquiry, all these things come. One meaning is that. Another meaning, chintya, is it must be done. Meaning you do not have an option. It must be done. And then one more meaning, chintya is that which is subject to objectification. One more meaning. That which is subject to objectification. And then, those are some meanings. If one more comes out, we'll see. Okay? So these are the different meanings of the word chinta. Now, naiva chintyan, naiva chintyam. Idam, now idam, na chintyam. Idam, what is this idam? Go back to verse number 4. Paramam padam, naiva chintyam. It is not a matter for objectification. Not a matter for objectification. And in fact, verse number 5 has also already said that other than what has been talked about, everything else is just verbal, garbage. That's what verbiage means, verbal garbage. Yeah. New vigraha, new, definition of that word. Verbiage means verbal garbage. It was already said that earlier. Riding on a false logic, everything that you just mentate or come up with is verbal garbage. It was said that. So then what am I supposed to do? Naiva chintyam. This is not something, this paramam padam, this goal is not objectifiable. First meaning. Meaning it's not an object. Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasasaha. Manasasaha, important. From which padam, which goal, the words, the verbal garbage in verse number 5, along with the mind, sad and dejected, both of them come back hand in hand. Yeah, both of them are friends. The words and the mind, speech and mind are friends. Because the mind categorizes and the speech articulates. The speech is the microphone of the mind. It amplifies the thoughts. So both of them are great friends. The speech is in the employ of the mind. Unfortunately, whatever one thinks, one blabbers. And so therefore, what happens? So the mind, along with its microphone, the speech, goes to this paramam padam, as yet unnamed, and it goes, knocks on the door of the ultimate goal. What shall I call you? Open the door. And what does paramam padam do? The ultimate goal does not open the door. Are you there? Does not answer yes. Who are you? Does not say anything. What shall I call you? This? Silent. Shall I call you that? Silent. But what are you? Where are you? What do you look like? No response. And the mind, is used to success. Very quickly, it just, sums up a person, a thing, all the things, all the nouns. Person, place, thing, event, everything, it just sums up. And it has a diatribe on each and everything. It can write, in volumes on each and every object in the universe. It objectifies everything. And here, it unable to objectify, the words and the mind come back very sad and ashamed, both of them. Yataha yasmat karanat, from which causeless cause, which is the truth of yourself. Because what we are studying here is you, but not as an object, as the subject alone. And so the mind here has no business masquerading as the agent of this knowledge. That's the idea. It's not an agent of this knowledge because this knowledge is not produced. It simply is. It's not an author, it's not an agent. Oh, it's not an agent? No. It's not an author? No. What is it? Servant. That's all it is. Oh, the mind is not like that one bit. It thought it was owning this place, this establishment, but then it has a new portfolio. It's the dishwasher. I mean, who will like that? Who will like that? Nobody will, sit quietly. And so the mind also comes back, temporarily stunned and, yato vacho nivartante. First the speech comes back and the mind follows because the mind and the speech are in tandem. Aprapya manasasah vachaha nivartate. Nivartante. The speech, words come back. Aprapya. Aprapya means up, to gain. Prap, to certainly gain. Aprap, not certainly not gained. What? The paramam padam, which is the truth of oneself as an object. The Atma, ungained, one has come back. In fact, two have come back. The speech and the mind sadly come back, slowly shuffling, kicking some pebbles on the road. They come back. And then, that is what the Taittiriya Upanishad talks about the mind. The Taittiriya Upanishad doesn't have a very high opinion of the use of the mind as an objectifier of things, of everything. There is no use here. It doesn't have a high opinion about this at all. It just relegates the mind to be, just there, and it is it is not an agent of this knowledge. It just crosses out the mind. And the Kena Upanishad, similarly, what does it do? It cautions this and says that this Paramam Padam, the ultimate goal, which is nothing but you, the subject, cannot be known as an object. Yan manasa na manute. Manute means, gained as an object, thought about, objectified. Yat, yat brahma, yat padam, manasa na manute. That which cannot be objectified by the mind, tadeva brahma tvam vidhi. Know that padam, which is called Brahman here, to be yourself. Nedam yadidam upasate. Not something that you worship, not something that you can objectify. The Kena Upanishad and the Taittiriya Upanishad are great friends, let us say, because they say something similar. In walks Kathopanishad with a slightly different trajectory. Ayyo. And the Kathopanishad appears to contradict these other two and including this one, Naiva Chintya. This one also is friends with the other, three of them now. And then the Kathopanishad, what does it say? Manasa eva idam aptavyam. That same ap. What was that ap in Taittiriya Upanishad? Na ap. Aprapya. Having certainly not gained, they return dejectedly, the mind and words. And here, manasa, third case, by the mind, through the mind, idam paramam padam, eva, only by the mind, this should be gained. Ayyo, I thought we were in agreement. Now what shall we do? It's not even time to take a break. How are we going to get out of this one? So, manasa, even though it's in the instrumental case, it's not the agent. It's in the instrumental case, in the sense of, first you banish the mind. Out, out, out. get away from here, like putting the cat out. And because the cat is creating havoc in the house, and then you put it out. And then it is cold and it promises to be good, and it scratches and it cries and it has learnt its lesson. Then you let it back in, correct? And then it hopefully quietly just goes and sits in one place, because somehow even animals know the connection between cause and effect. And so it's like putting the animal out because it's wreaking havoc, scratching the furniture or making noise, and then after that, when it goes out in the cold, then it doesn't like it there, it promises to be good and comes back. The same thing has to be done with the mind. First, it is cast out as an agent of knowledge, as an agent of this Paramam Padam. It is not something that's manufacturing this Paramam Padam. It's cast out, relegated to, as having no role in this business of knowing the self. Because the self is not an object, and the mind only deals with objects. The self is the subject. The mind can only illumine objects. Where does it get the light to illumine? It borrows the light from the subject. So how can that borrowed light from the subject shine the light on the subject to reveal the subject that doesn't need to be revealed? Do you want me to repeat that? No, good. Okay. So first of all, the light is borrowed. And so from the borrowed light, you are trying to shine the light on that light from which it is borrowed. It's like, holding a candle and doing a tour of the earth and showing the candle to the sun and saying, this is our sun, please look. Is that even necessary? No. Is that even possible? No. So this is what we are trying to do when we engage in mental antics, trying to objectify the truth of the self, the content of the self. Because the mind doesn't have the wherewithal, the mind cannot objectify. Oh, shall we bring another mind? No. Because it's not an object. It is the very nature of the subject. Oh, but it's so sad, everything I can objectify except the self. Buddhu, Buddhu is opposite of Buddha, Buddha means the knowledgeable one. Buddhu means, the one who refuses to gain knowledge. That is Buddhu. It need not be objectified. Oh, why not? This is not fair. The not I is objectified all the time. Why should the I be objectified? Because it doesn't need to be, it is self-shining. It's already known as the subject. It need not be objectified. This the mind doesn't understand. So therefore, the injunction here, naiva chintyam, this is not an object. This paramam padam, which is the truth of the body-mind complex, which is the truth of you, naiva chintyam, this is not an object. Oh, okay, then I'm not coming to class. This is what the mind says. What's the point? I'm never going to get it. I can't objectify. I don't need to objectify. So I'm just being sent out of the door like bad kitty. And so I'm not coming back. I'm going somewhere else where I'm appreciated, the mind says. Where I have job satisfaction. What is this business subject, just making me always in the spin cycle. I'm not happy here. I'm taking my wares elsewhere. Wait a minute, next one what? Na cha achintyam. Oh, the mind is now stopped going wherever it was. It had packed a little lunch box and it was leaving. A little sandwich it had packed and it was ready to go. And then what? Organic sandwich. This is Eugene, okay? And it had all packed its sandwich. It was leaving in a huff. It was the miffed mind because it has, the only job that it was good at has been taken away. How dare they? How dare this Upanishad and that Upanishad, The miffed mind is very upset now and it wants to leave. When the going gets tough, the tough need to get going, and so the mind says, I'm out of here. And then it is stopped. Because the mind likes, to its credit, it likes puzzles. Naiva cha chintyam na cha achintyam. Well, but it is still worth the enquiry. Oh, what? You just banished me and now you are calling me back. Why should I come? Because you have no self-respect. Come back, It's all a manufactured protest. Come back. Here, nacha achintyam means it is not worthy of enquiry. In Sanskrit, we love double negatives for emphasis. In English, we are told, don't use double negative. It makes the sentence weak. In Sanskrit, we are told, use double negatives for strength and emphasis. Achintyam, not to be thought about here, not worthy of enquiry. Na achintyam, not unworthy of enquiry, meaning eminently and extremely worthy of enquiry this subject matter is. Oh, did you say enquiry? Yes, I'm talking to the mind now, Mind is talking back. Did you say enquiry? Yes. Oh, so you said enquiry. Can an enquiry be conducted without me? How can we conduct an enquiry without you? That's why I'm saying come back. Naiva cha, naiva chintyam. It's not an object, and the miffed mind goes away, returns, goes away, turns away, and then it's asked to return. First it is banished, and then it is asked to return. It's like after an enquiry, a shake-up at the top levels. In the ministry, cabinet level, complete shake-up because there's all kinds of corruption going on. So first everyone is disbanded, everybody is disbanded, and then the one that was the minister is brought back in a servile capacity. You just be a consultant, an overseer, dishwasher. Make sure everything is dried and neatly kept and ordered. That's what you're good at. You help the preparation for this knowledge. You help the enquiry, but you become the servant of the Upanishad. Very difficult. No mind will agree at first. It will throw a tantrum. Right? It's not even in the house. You have called it back. It's right on the street in front of the house, and it throws a very big tantrum. And it says, what? Now you are calling me back to do this enquiry, but then I am part of a commission. No, in fact, I'm working for this commission. And I'm just supposed to just give up the files, whatever you ask for, and I shouldn't do anything. I have no decision-making capacity. Am I right? Correct. So I don't lead the enquiry? Absolutely not. So what am I? Dishwasher. Dishwasher means what? You're a gopher. Yeah. You just do what you're told. That's what is a gopher. Gopher means you go for whatever you are asked to bring, go for it and bring it back. Gopher. You're a gopher. You just play fetch. That's all it is. Like a good doggy after it goes to obedience school. Before, what was the doggy doing? The doggy was making you play fetch. Making you run around. And then you take it to obedience school, and then it has now learned to bring you slippers. Of course, after it chews them, but that's graduate obedient school that hasn't yet come. But at least it's bringing something. So the mind is relegated to the mail carrier, the gopher, the one that just carries things around, the one that shows certain things in a servile capacity. I like to think of the mind as an usher. The usher in the opera or some kind of a theatre play. Sometimes people come late, there is traffic, they can't help it. And so all the doors are closed, everything is dark inside the theatre. And these fellows with little flashlights, guide you to your seat. That's what the whole thing is. The mind guides the pramata to take its seat as the truth of itself. The correct seat, not the hot seat, and not the tiny limited seat, and not the tripod stool from which it's constantly falling off, but the proper throne where it belongs. So the mind is just a servile usher leading it to that seat from which it has been destabilized, because of self-ignorance. And so the mind is brought back. I always think of like this. When at the time of sannyasa, the student leaves, goes off in the northern direction. North stands for moksha. In fact, drops all the clothes and goes off, with the tide of the water, wherever it is, just goes off. And then either the teacher or the other co-disciples call the person back, come back and be of service. Because when the person leaves, the person says, I am dropping doership. You see here, this is very interesting. I am dropping doership and I am out of here. And then the disciples call, or the guru calls and says, you don't have to be a doer, you just be of service. And your doership here is falsified as though live and be of service. So too the mind, which had earlier a kind of a vengeance-based vairagya, not true vairagya. You don't want me, I'm leaving. Because all I can do is categorize. Come on, you can do other things. No, I won't. I'm gone. I'm out of here. You don't want me. You don't love me anymore. This is the vairagya. The miffed mind goes away. I'm not going to do this. Too hard, too ridiculous. And then is brought back in a new capacity with true vairagya. Yes, now the mind is a sannyasi. It comes back wearing an orange frock, First it is defrocked from its penchant to put things in category, and then it's given a little orange frock. Be of service. Be of service to this knowledge. But how? First you knock off, you help me in, the Upanishad is saying, you help me in knocking off the pramata, and when the pramata is knocked off senseless, we'll escort this fellow into the true seat, which is the paramam padam, which is where the self belongs. And why was this person de-seated? Ignorance and wrong identification. It was de-seated, and so you seat the person. What de-seated? Had not even occupied the seat. So you seat the person where the person belongs. So what is my job? You shine a little light, that's all it is. And then what do I do? Before that you can help, when the pramata is knocked off senseless, you can bring some chai and sprinkle some water and, console the person and prepare them for what is to come. First the mind is very upset, extremely annoyed, and then what choice does it have, okay? So it says, all right, okay, naiva chintyam, but at the same time, this subject matter of the self is not unworthy of enquiry. okay, what do I do now? You come back as a servant. First you were the employer, and now what are you? A simple, basic employee. That's all you are. You are just a canvas on which all these things are taking place. Where the knowledge is taking place, you are the receptacle where the knowledge is taking place. You are not the author or the agent. So this is still 1/4 of the verse, believe it or not. And welcome Prashanti. Yes, see, everybody comes at the right time. Wonderful. Prashanti has just come back from Mysore. And okay, so naiva chintyam nacha achintyam. And then again, na chintyam. Na chintyam. Ayyayo, what are we going to do here? I thought na eva chintyam. What were the meanings? What were the meanings we were told in the beginning? No. The 3 meanings of the word chintya. Yeah.
That is worthy of thinking, must be done, that which is subject to
Yeah.
objectification.
So, what was that? Which ones have we used so far?
So far we
Yeah. Which ones have we used? Which one is left over?
must be
Can't be objectified.
Can't be objectified has been used up. That was the first one. And then,
Must be
worthy of
it's worthy of thought was also used up. And then, so naiva chintyam. So na chintyam, the next one, na chintyam means cannot be. There's one more meaning. Naiva chintyam, na cha achintyam, and then na chintyam. And here na chintyam means don't look for it where it is not. That is also one more meaning. Looking for something where it is not. Na chintyam. Na chintyam means don't look for it it's not one among the many objects that you are searching for. Na chintyam, first one, na chintyam as an object, do not objectify. And then second, na chintyam means it's not one among the many things that you are in search of. Na chintyam. Oh, so again the mind says, okay, I'm giving up the search, because that is everyone's temperament. In the beginning of the quest is to objectify the truth of oneself and to bring it back and then fill in the blanks and color inside the lines. This is what it is, blue light, yellow light, green light, this light, that light, And then what? Night light. That's all. Nothing else. One is tired. The mind is exhausted. So, na chintyam means don't make the karana, which is the mind, exhausted by running around in circles looking for one more object among the many objects. This is not one more object. In fact, it is that light which gives rise to many shadows, which we mistake for objects. That's what it is. So it is that light that sustains all the little rays and beams. It's like a big disco light, let us say. And because of the disco light, there are so many lights, you can't be a light chaser and think that Brahman is one more light along with all the lights, blink, blink in the Jagat. No, it is that because of which I see all the lights. And so therefore, na chintyam means don't look for it as one more object. This is another big problem in the spiritual quest. And that's why people say, I'm not into Vedanta. I'm more of a meditator. I'm more of a singer. Om Namah Shivaya. I am more of a, active karma yogi. I just go here, go there, do that, do this. What? For nothing. I just do that. Nobody does anything for nothing, okay? What do you really do it for? Well, if you really want to know the truth, I can't stand myself. In my free time, what will I do? I don't have the restfulness to meditate. I don't know what this study is all about. And so I glide under the nice shingle of Karma Yogi. And I have what is that? Elevated, altruistic sense of self. Here is where the mind has categorized itself. Karma Yogi means what? I'm altruistic. I do things for nothing. Okay, don't do things. I don't want you to do things. Oh, please. What will I do? Don't take away my seva. So really speaking, it's not seva, it's sleva, right? Here, I am dependent on this. That's what it is. And same thing, the person who is, what shall we call them? Bhakta, the person singing all the time, not that there is anything wrong in bhakti. But the person says, I don't like Vedanta, I'm going to do bhakti, is also doing karma, correct? Karma does not produce, action does not produce what is already there. Action cannot produce that which is limitless. That which is limitless is uncreated. It cannot be a product of action because action is limited and results of action infinitely limited, are definitely finite. So this much we have to understand. So nachintyam, that's the second nachintyam, means that now first I was an experience hunter. I wanted all kinds of experiences, sky gliding experience, pretending to be a bird, and what is that? Glub, 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 what do they, something else, snorkeling experience, pretending to be a fish, and then, safari experience, pretending to be a lion. Yeah, better be careful when you go on those things. And one lion, adolescent lion, opened the car door. They had forgotten to lock it and looked inside, because it had ordered takeaway and it thought it was the delivery in this car. People came. And the whole family, full of children, everybody was there. Mother, father, children, and one uncle and the safari, whoever was driving this vehicle, the designated person to drive from that wildlife preserve. And one inquisitive fellow came, calmly opened. I mean, they had somebody, I don't know how in that shock they even took the video, but it just coolly opened and peered inside. Is my lunch here yet? And of course it was a split second. Everyone screamed, and I think that also, made the lunch very unsavory, You don't want your lunch to talk back, either in the stomach, in the form of cucumbers, or outside the stomach. You don't want your lunch to talk back. And here it was a screaming lunch, and so it quickly, everybody quickly closed the door, and the lion was a little dazed. Why are we talking of lions? Because we are trying to make the point that everyone before they come into the spiritual quest is an experience hunter, all kinds of thrilling experiences. And in that thrill, what happens? There is a subject-object fusion. Yeah, I become one with the waters, glub, 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 and then I have some fins which I'm wearing, and then I pretend to be the fish, correct? One with the fish, until a shark comes along, yeah. Then Advaita also comes along with the shark. And then one is gliding, and I read one somewhere else also, some big bird, some hawk or something came and pecked, just to see what it was. What is this strange thing that is gliding? And of course they had to shoo away that, there were two people, one on top of the other gliding, and then, this one came and just pecked. He said, you are new in the neighborhood, need some worms, need some place to go. Maybe it was a friendly peck, we don't know. But of course they were scared, and then when they tried to shoo it away, it just all got discombobulated. With great difficulty they, kind of crash landed somewhere, emergency landing. So one is an experienced hunter. And then what other experience? Spider experience, bungee cord jumping, Yeah, the vasanas of being a spider from the last life, they have not departed. So they have made a comeback because one has signed up for bungee cord jumping. And then what is that? Zip line. You go on some wire. Yeah, one is already wired. I don't know why this is. One is already down to the wire, but here one goes. All these thrills are because one wants to get out of this body-mind sense complex and have an out-of-body experience. And the riskier the experience, the greater the thrill, because you forget that you have a body, you forget you have a mind. Here you can do that for free, in the Vedanta class. It is revealed to you. So then, this thrill seeker, accidentally, because of purva punya, because of previous punya, an overdose of previous punya, accidentally walks into a Vedanta class. And then what happens? Tries to seek spiritual thrills. Before it was existential thrills. Now it is, not the material thrills. Now it is spiritual experience hoarder I become. And so the meditation becomes a feat each time. Oh, blue light today, what did you see? Yellow light? Not as advanced. Blue light, more advanced. Yellow is still the beginning. And and so like this, there is a lot of experience hunting. That hunter is the mind, and that mind is slowly the gun is snatched from that mind. The one that wants to objectify everything, and this is also one more object and is something to be conquered. That is the meaning of the next Chintyam. It is not something to be conquered. It is not one more thing that you have. It's not a trophy. Yeah, it's not a trophy. Even though it's as sweet as toffee, it's not a trophy. It's not something that you hang on the wall. Brahmavid. Here is Brahman. You have all these lion, tigers, very unfortunate. You have people heads hanging, and then Brahman. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. This is ridiculous. This is not a trophy. That is what? Nachintyam. Don't think of it as a conquest, a trophy. And the mind says, I'm leaving again. You're taking away all my thrills. Why should I be with you? I'm going. Well, don't go. Why? Chintyameva saha. Chintyameva cha. It's worthy of enquiry. In fact, this enquiry is the only enquiry. It must be done because it's not just one more object in the universe. It is the thing because of which all objects are. It is in fact to be revealed as the subject. Oh, object, subject. Here is a lovely duality. The mind says, I think I'll stay for coffee. When? After the break. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yeah, so I will stay here, answer questions and talk to you. And what I thought was nice, what I thought would be nice is an offer that I'm going to make to people I do not know yet and I haven't met either online or in person. This is not an offer for people who I know and who I have met or who I have met online. These are people who are new to me. So this is an offer so that we all get to know you. So you can tell a few things about yourself, whatever you want to say. And then you have already said that in your little handouts that the question answers that you were given earlier. But now what I'd like you to do is to tell me how this course or how these classes are impacting you, what you have learned, because that will be a lovely satsang. So we can do this, a few people each day, we can do that. What is exciting for you about these classes? What are you learning? People that I have not met and people that have not taken any online course before and about whom I know nothing or next to nothing. This offer is for those people. First we'll give them the chance, and then if we have time, then we will have a chance for people who have been here before. Okay? Yeah. So some things that you're excited about, some things that you're learning, what you're going to take away from this, and how is the course working for you? How are the meditations, if you are taking them, working for you? Is this an effective medium of teaching? Because sometimes I wonder, is this making an impact? This medium. So that is the thing. And everybody can read what each person has written, and to that effect I will make this a little big. And also, if you are having any difficulties, you can write about that as well. Some difficulties, some things. Sure. It's not the middle. This is the time. Every day, a few words. Everybody gets a chance to talk a little bit. Yeah, you can do that. Everybody would like to hear what you have to say. Good, I'm glad it reaches. Yes. Yes. Where do you work, Saras? Okay, okay. Yeah, the 12-hour time difference, correct. Now we'll open it up to people who also know me and who have taken classes before. They can also write. I'm glad that the online is effective because I'm not at your end, so I don't know.
Swamini, there's a couple of people here who wrote as well. So, TP.
TP, I don't know who TP is.
It's great to hear you speak. And then, Triple D, no. And then Christy Parnam, Namaste Swamini Ji. Your classes are very relevant to my everyday life. Dear Swamini Ji, your classes are like a breath of fresh air. That's all Christy Parnam. Parnam.
Yeah. This is very important, this one. I sometimes have difficulty not multitasking because large and active household full-time job, but no other format would be possible at this time. And love to go back to the lectures and hear again. And I have been able to catch up from the long trip to India, time difference, etc. Very nice. Very nice. And all of you are so dedicated. This is something I want to say. You're so committed. And thank you for the comments on live stream. Very good. I'm glad that this is effective. There are less distractions in each of the classes because in the form of social interactions, etc. That's good. And due to technical issues, Nivedita is on live stream. Good, I'm glad this is an effective means because I don't know how it works on a daily basis, especially the meditations also. So I'm glad to have this feedback. I'm glad it's making a difference. Yes.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, that softness has to be turned within, correct? the commentary on each text is put in folders on live stream. Unfortunately, we have lost that ability to do that. We no longer have that ability on live stream. We had an earlier version where we were able to do that. There's a request to put all the texts in their respective folders. We can't do that on this one, unfortunately. But what we could do is make the links. Malati can make the links available, and those links can be posted on the website.
Or the Dropbox.
Or the
Put them
Dropbox.
up in the Dropbox
Yeah.
and then they can...
Something like that. Some of you can help, do that. In fact, all of you are so helpful with transliteration and all these things. This is good. Nivedita's blog is very popular. Everybody's going to it after class. And it gives a recap apparently. And then the ability to access on live stream. Yeah. 1 month course has created work for the rest of the year. Yeah. Regular meditation and chanting may be considered for future along with weekly Vedanta classes. What is the, now people are asking Nivedita's blog's URL. So Tripti can give. Tripti has it by hearted. Yeah. Because Tripti is going every day. This is so much fun.
Yesterday, Swaminiji, we did the Sanskrit in Zoom, where you can see people. So I got to see Yukiko, Solvig, Pratama, and another not coming.
Wonderful.
It's fun.
Yeah, Tara is also here. Very nice. Yeah, so Nivedita's blog has become very popular. Anything works, anything that works, we encourage. Wonderful. Okay, enough of this now. We will have more, we will take up a topic like this every day, and during the breaks, morning and afternoon, I will get to know you more like this, if there are no questions, okay? Yeah, if there are questions, of course, we'll do that first. Oh, you are coming there? That's wonderful. March 25th, yes, I'm there. Yes. Yeah, in between. Okay, shall we return? What do you think? Yeah? I suppose if you were asleep, Prashanti offers, you could not wonder if you were awake. Good point. See, everybody is so helpful. Absolutely. Prashanti is from Yogaville. Yeah, you live in Charlottesville, don't you? Prashanti, you live in Charlottesville, correct? But then that's the thought, yes, that's the thought. And yes, she lives in Charlottesville, so possibilities.
Yes.
Yeah. So, wonderful. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Yogaville in April also. Yes, Janani will also come with me. You will get to meet her. Okay? All right. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now, where did we leave? We left the mind looking for the gun. Yeah. Who is this mind? The hunter. the hunter and collector of spiritual experience trophies. So, therefore, it is said, na chintyam. This is not something to collect. This is not one more object in the whole list of pursuits and agenda that you have, this unending agenda of all conquests and all lists, including bucket list. Note, no, Vedanta is never on anyone's bucket list. So, therefore, here the mind, you have to go and snatch the gun or the saber. The saber means the sword, or the dueling, spelled Duelling, dueling, sword, or whatever weapon it has. You confiscate the weapon from the mind, you disarm the mind. If it's holding a sword, you go like that and pry its claws open, and then you make it drop the armament. You disarm the mind, and there are many ways to do it. We are going to discuss it, and the Upanishad herself will tell a few ways. But one of the ways is that the mind is very susceptible to flattery. You charm the mind and you disarm the mind. You charm it out of its defensive mechanisms, out of its offensive mechanisms, of wanting to hoard this which is not an object, wanting to, that is the first achintyam, and the second, first chintyam, the second chintyam means wanting, the tendency to see this as one more experience which is limitless. The limited experiences and the limitless experiences cannot be on a par. You cannot have a limitless experience other than knowing the experiencer who happens to be limitless. So therefore, you slowly go, sneak behind the mind, surprise it, catch the gun, render it defenseless, or you charm it out of existence, make friends with it and make it drop the gun. Whichever method you choose, and sometimes it's not an either or, both have to be deployed simultaneously and hopefully one of them will work. That's what you have to do. So, na chintyam, don't look for one more thing, one more experience. This Brahman, the ultimate Paramam Padam, which is going to be called Brahman soon, it's not one more thing to go after. Oh, but the mind says, I have to go after something. What shall I go after? I have a compulsive, drive to go after. Go after the goer after. The one who goes after, you go after that. How can I do that? Okay, sit down then. Sit down. That's what it is. Because the one that is going after is the one has to go after. Therefore, chintyamevacha. There is a different way of going after the one who goes after everything. And so that inquiry is not within the purview of your capacities, your tricks, your trade. You do not have any relevance here whatsoever. You just have to disarm, you have to just sit, and you have to be in a servile capacity, help. Because even the smallest help, without the mind, this knowledge cannot take place. Don't tell it that. That's it's like that. The mind suffers from a smallness, and at the same time, to hide that smallness, it's like that. One of those fishes in the sea. It's called a puffing fish, puffer fish. The thing is only 2.5 inches, and then when a predator comes, and it's got spikes also, puffer fish. And then after the predator, it is waiting to exhale. And then after the predator goes back into this, 2-inch little reality that it is. So to the mind, when it is threatened to be disbanded, blows up completely. So therefore, first it has to be disarmed and then pricked with a pin, When it deflates without the capacity to re-inflate, then you say Chintyameva cha. Now we both, the Upanishad says, hand in hand, you and me are going to go after the one who goes after. Oh, I'm also an agent? No, you are my servant. Yeah. You just go fetch things. You fetch the manuscript, you fetch the ahankara, bring it and sit it in the class, you make it learn. You revive it when it loses consciousness because it has been shamed. Wet hanky, you go like this. That is your job. And so the mind, what will it say? All right, I give up. And this is when the mind says, I give up, it is time for a Vedanta party. Bring on things that, what is that goes like that?
Noise maker.
Fee, huh?
Noise maker.
Yeah, no, that.
Noisemakers.
Yeah, those noise makers, they unfurl. And then that things that drop from the sky, confetti, balloons. We are celebrating what? We are celebrating the death of the mind, which in other Upanishads is called Mano Nashaha. It's not that the mind is destroyed. It's the temporary disarmament of the mind as the agent of the knowledge, and the rearmament of the mind as a mere servant who ushers in the knowledge and is a receptacle of the knowledge, a carrier of the knowledge. Yeah, gopher, that's all it is, yeah. It just carries the knowledge. Before it had authorship, now that authorship has been, the copyright stays with the Upanishad, not with the mind. That's why if anybody, anywhere in India, you ask, nobody is interested in your name. If you are a spiritual teacher, nobody is interested in your name. And everybody has complex names, Svatmavidyananda. Who's going to remember that and who's going to pronounce that, Yeah, you have to give some money for people to pronounce it. And and even then it may come out wrongly. So nobody is interested. Everybody is some Ananda or another, Happy Ananda, sad Ananda, conflicted Ananda, resolved Ananda, is some Ananda or the other. Nobody is interested in your name. And even if you consider yourself extremely senior, or senile, doesn't matter, nobody is in the least bit interested what you are called. The only question that they have is, Aapka Guru Sthan kidhar hai? Where is your lineage? Who do you come from? They are interested in your antecedents, your Guru lineage. And if you say, I got all my knowledge myself, so why are you in orange? Who gave you sannyasa? I gave it to myself. If you say that, then they politely make some chit chat and leave from there, and nobody comes and visits you also in places like Kumbh Mela, which is the orange festival, where a city, in fact the UNESCO sent people over to find out how a functional city of 2.5 million people gets erected just for 15 days. And it has everything, running water, toilets, proper, all the arrangements are proper, food, trains to carry these masses. And then, tents on the river banks, everything, 5-star tents, big swamis, bada mahatmas. Stature-wise, size-wise, both, and then, bada means big. And then what? And then, you have 3-star tents, Janata tents, small teepees, everything is there. Yeah. And Swami without disciples will be living single room teepees, and only one bed is there, otherwise they come with all their disciples. It's a grand orange festival. And then the custom is to visit one another and, just pay one's respect. So the junior people go and visit the seniors. And so once in a while the seniors also, in a nod of acknowledgement, go and visit the juniors. This is how, this is what From the Kumbh Mela practice, Victorian England got this got this custom of visiting people like this during the London season. So the season also is from the Kumbh Mela only. It's a season. Okay, it's all just a big orange party. It's wonderful. Instead of balls, we have bhajans. That's all. And so if you say, I have got this knowledge myself, then nobody will come and visit you. And the next time you apply for a permit to set up tent, it will be denied. Very politely, they will say, we are full. Oh, next year we are full for next 12 years. That's how they will say. Nobody is interested in the mind as an agent of the knowledge. Anybody who knows anything knows this. So the mind has to bend, bend forward. Yeah. Bend forward completely. And it has to double up as a servant, not as an agent. That is the whole thing. The Upanishad is the agent. Yeah. And what is that? Agent 007. 7th Upanishad I am studying. And what does this agent have? License to kill Ajnanam. That's what it is. Yeah. Ajnanam is what is gone here. And so this has to be understood, is that the mind has to be shaken up so much that it is going like this. And it is just waking up. Or it has to be knocked with its own gun that it was snatched. You just knock the mind senseless. You knock out the pramata. And then the pramata is going blink, blink, slightly concussed. And wondering, like our friend Vikram here, am I awake, am I not? and then, and then the knowledge is easy. Then the person is available for knowledge because the person has stopped trying to figure out what it is. It's not about figuring out, because figuring out is categorical, and it just figuring out, it reproduces duality infinitely. Oh, so I have the infinite? Yes, infinite duality, or at least some kind of infinite I have. Infinite samsara. Same thing, at least a little bit of the infinite I have. You can't have the little bit of the infinite. It is infinitely trying, okay? And so what to do now? The next line gives the way forward after the mind has been stunned. The mind has been tasered, and then it doesn't know what to do, and it has been, it has been incapacitated as an agent of knowledge. So now it is wondering what to do, and then the teaching is given. Pakshapata vinirmuktam. Yeah, for me, I'm saying that for me. Okay, yeah, no, it's already been repeated. So, Pakshapata vinirmuktam. Vinirmuktam, definitely freed of. Pakshapata. Falling, pata, fall. Yeah, this is a big fall. This is a very interesting word. Pataha, fall. Falling into one wing or another. Paksha. Fall, left wing, right wing, winged out, winging it. All these things. Various pakshas. Pakshas means, this, what is that called? Taking sides. And this is something one loves to do. It's the either or thinking that leaves one with, leaves one with no Brahman, correct? No Brahman. Because, is Brahman good? Silent. Is Brahman bad? Silent. Because this is what the problem is. Brahman is Ishvara. So then good or bad? Is Ishvara good? And this is the pitfall. That's why it's called Pakshapata. Pitfalls of duality. And we see this in many predominant religions. God is good. All good. God cannot be bad because we worship God. If that which was bad was God, that would be real odd. So therefore, and I can't, because it is a matter of belief. It's not a matter of understanding in these traditions. So if it is a matter of belief, I have to only have everything that is good. But then there is, what is this? There is terrorism. And the you know, the name of the Egyptian goddess called Isis has been converted into some kind of a killing machine in the name of this beautiful goddess. And then what? Then there is all kinds of strife, fears, and not to talk about, what to talk about, earthquakes and other adhidaivika calamities, all kinds of issues, all kinds of problems, all kinds of things are there. Yuck, this is terrible. But God cannot be, God is not like that. Yeah, sometimes God punishes. Yeah, but why, that aside, we have to bring in someone called what? Devil, to explain all the bad things. So here, even on the level of the ultimate reality, which supposedly is God, you have another fellow called devil. The devil or evil, without the D, is called evil, and the evil or devil delimits God, because God is not everything. Everything is not God, only good is God. And so the bad, you have to bring in another entity called devil. And then you have to be constantly worried about the devil. And to make matters even more complicated, the devil sometimes masquerades as God. Ayyo, how to know whether it is God or devil? Who is talking? It's a very big problem. Very big problem. And so this is a very big pitfall called pakshapata. You cannot say God is all good. This is not about good or bad. What is good? Good is what I want. My ragas, if they are fulfilled, it is good. And what is good for the terrorist is if everyone else is gone off the face of the earth, that is good. What is good for a loan shark is if that loan shark, not L-O-N-E, L-O-A-N, okay? Yeah, this loan shark is a usurper of everyone's money, and if everyone gullibly hands over their money and gets into that spell, that is very good. Good is relative, and good is not only relative, good is subjective. Bad is also subjective. No, but if all of us agree that terrorism is bad, the terrorists are not agreeing, so how is it all? The terrorist is not agreeing I am a terrorist. In fact, the terrorist views you as a terrorist to be eliminated from the face of the earth because you don't agree with who they are. And so therefore, this good and bad, this is what is the ultimate pitfall, one of the pitfalls. Then what? All these dualities, this is the primary one. Dharma, adharma. God is only dharma. This is another setup. Then what is adharma? What are all the wrong things that are happening? This is all, subjective. This is all the result of subjective thinking. What are all the other things that are happening? If this God is only dharma. Dharma is an order which is a manifestation of God, we say, manifestation of Brahman. And then it includes disorder. And in that disorder, adharma is included. Yeah. That is Bhagavan. That which transcends the dualities is Bhagavan. You cannot say that Bhagavan is also reproducing the dualities. Then where do I go, Like yesterday I told you, heaven, I thought at least that's one place where somebody will look at me and understand me. And after jostling through the crowds, I find that the formless one doesn't have eyes to even make eye contact. Yeah, but the formless one is he, and he is sitting somewhere. How? Don't know. Formless occupies space also. That is enough to make me spaced out, So, this is something that has to be assimilated. That this pakshapata is the job of the mind. The mind is only doing pakshapata. Good, bad, yes, no, maybe, maybe not, this, that. It is just putting things into categories. And the mind has been thwacked, into submission. Now it is little dizzy. Yes, all right. What are you trying to say? It finally listens. And then when it is ready for the teaching, after that thwacking of chintyam, achintyam, achintyam, chintyam has been done, it is just spinning now, and then it's finally ready for the knowledge. It's just blinking out of the concussion of chintya and achintya, and then it is told pakshapata vinirmuktam, and it says, oh, that is very difficult. I don't know how to manage that. And then it recognizes, it has some kind of, along with the buddhi, it recognizes itself self-referentially as the mastermind. That's why it's called mind. It's the mastermind of Pakshapata. In fact, it's the author of Pakshapata. Every book of duality has been authored by the mind. In fact, if you said there aren't enough categories in the world, it will happily come up with a few more. No, but we need dyads. Don't worry, dyad, triad, everything. Dipod, tripod. I will do it. It loves to deal with, diametrically opposed opposites, and then say, where do you belong? Where does this Brahman belong? And look all knowing. This is the category I have created. And see, you don't know where to place yourself. This is what it is. So it's not a conquest, it was told. It is not one more object in the world. And neither is this. Let's be careful what we are talking about. Let's remember, Paramam Padam, to be unfolded as Brahman. This Paramam Padam is not within these dual categories of whatever it is. Freed of the categories. Why? That which presides over the categories, which is not opposed to categorization, but which is itself free of all categories, nameless, formless, limitless, is this Paramam Padam, which happens to be you. And the mind blinks. Okay, I think that's a little too much for right now. I was so happy with the gun. I was so happy with those trays. First you took away the trays, and then you put me out unceremoniously. Then you brought me back. And I had low self-esteem, so I decided to come back as a servant, thinking there is some hope. And then even the last little thing I had, which was a secret weapon to just conquer this by this duality, even that you have taken away. And with that weapon of duality, you have thwacked me. Chintyam, achintyam, chintyam, achintyam, chintyam, achintyam, achintyam, chintyam, 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 na chintyam, na chintyam. All these double negative words. I'm just, I have been hit by my own weapon very effectively. And now I have an idea what I have been doing to others. And so I'm just going to sit here and listen. Abba, thank God. So when the mind is finally available for understanding, after being like, you think of a cartoon in the comic, this character is just, completely dragged around until until the person doesn't even remember their own name. And then you say, Brahma Sampadyate Tada. Small detail, you just slip it in. Pakshapata vinirmuktam, when you are free of these conflicting dualities that you have set up, good, bad, this, that, dharma, adharma, object, not object, and witness, not witness, witness, witless, all these things, all these categories, when you are still mumbling, fumbling and jumbling these categories, then when those categories no longer have the power to run you, and to be the fuel for you to work, then tada, that's a conditional thing. Yada, when the mind is free of all these conflicting categories, tada, at that time, imbhavati brahma sampadyate. Brahman is gained. Sampadyate is gained. Now wait a minute. Two problems. What is gained? Brahman. Hello, up till now we are talking of yada ayati atmano bhavam. We are talking about atma. Atma means I know myself very well. Sad, bad, mad. That is who I am. We're talking about me, and possibly I'm not sad, I'm not mad, we are talking about that. But then suddenly this new word, Brahman, has descended, and the word Atma has been replaced by Brahman. This is a no-no in grammatical essay writing, correct? You have to introduce the topic and then you have to explain whatever. How can the Upanishad get away? Because it's not an essay. Yeah. It's an assay. A-S-S-A-Y. Yeah. It's an assay of ways of getting to the truth of yourself. It's not an essay. It doesn't have to follow the keyhole approach. You start like this and you widen and then you come back to, you narrow the thing. It's not interested in all that. This is not prose, this is poetry. And when it replaces a word, it's time to sit up and take notice, and that's why it's replacing the word, because if it had said Atma, Pakshapata vinirmuktam, Atma sampadhyate tada, first of all the meter would have been, compromised. Secondly, the mind would not have gained, would not have been effectively brought out of its complacency. So it's to keep the mind on its toes. You keep replacing the word. And this Upanishad seems to have learnt this tactic from the Taittiriya Upanishad. The Taittiriya Upanishad begins grandly. What does it say? How does it begin? Om Brahmavida apnoti param. The knower of the Brahman gains the ultimate. Tadesha bhyukta satyam jnanamanantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman. So this Brahman, which is the ultimate, is gained by this person. As what? As the truth of oneself, residing in the thicket of the buddhi, which is like a cave, dark, dank with ignorance and wrong identifications. And then what? So shnute sarvan kamaan saha brahmana vipaschideti. Saha ashnute. That person gains, enjoys. Ashnute eats, enjoys. What? Sarvan kaman saha ashnute. Yugapat simultaneously enjoys. Brahmana, not along with Brahman, as Brahman, in the form of Brahman. Being Brahman, there are no limitations to the enjoyment, because everyday enjoyments always are limited, because when the subject is enjoying one object, the other objects are limited from being the source of enjoyment. Here, there is no limitations. It is in fact the self, the subject is revealed as Brahman, which is enjoyment, Swarupa itself, whose nature is just free. Okay, that's good. Then what? Tasmad va etasmad atmana akashas sambhutah. Wait a minute. There was Brahman, and suddenly talking about the cosmology of the universe, from this Atma, the space was created. You see how Brahman has been quietly replaced by the word Atma, and here it is a switcheroo. The word Atma, Atma Bhava, has been replaced by Brahman, because the entry point is different. The entry point here is from the standpoint of the Jiva. There, the entry point is Ishvara. That's why here the switch is in the opposite direction. I started with I, and that I resolves where it really belongs, which is the truth of the self, which is called Ishvara, Brahman. And so this is what the Taittiriya Upanishad defines as Brahman. It gives 3 words to define. Satyam, Jnanam, Ananta. Satyam simply means it exists. That's all. Oh, so many things exist. Big deal. Mother-in-law also exists, you know. Father-in-law exists, outlaw exists. All the things I don't want also exist. Why should I go after this Brahman? It exists. Satyam, it is you. Jnanam, that's what it means. That's why Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is a Mahavakya. It unfolds the equation or the identity between the Jiva and Ishvara. Jnanam, you have to bring in the I. There is no Jnanam without I. Because what is the source of this Jnanam? Where does the Jnanam reside? Where is the sentiency reside? You cannot say in the neighbor, in you. You are the sentient one who recognizes itself as existent. That self-recognizing one, that is called Jnanam at the level of the individual. Sat, existent. Sat, I am. Jnanam, I know I am. Because when you say I am, what you're saying is, I know I am. And then what's the last word? Anantam. Anantam means now. I know I am now. How long is now? Is now over now? Or is it over now? Or is it still going on now? What about now? 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 Now. You know, that's all you have to say. The now never comes to an end. Now is, they say now or never. It's wrong. Now is forever. Yeah. Now is forever. Because the length of time called the present, you cannot, put a measuring tape to the present. Supposing you have a big wedding and you hire a cook. Cook comes at 7:30, the wedding is at 10:30 and the lunch is at 1 o'clock. So 7:30, what is the cook doing? What is the cook doing? Cooking. 8:30, what is the cook doing? Cooking. 9:30, what is the cook doing? Cooking. 10:30, cooking. 11:30, you know the answer. 12:30, cooking. Up till 1 o'clock, till the guests have sat down, cooking, present continuous. Cooking. No, but not always cooking. Boiling water is equal to cooking. Cutting vegetables is equal to cooking. Putting the garnish, cilantro on top is equal to cooking. Cooking. And so this one cooking has taken such a long time. Always in the present. The length of time, now there is no length of time for now. That's why when one is in the now, so to speak, it seems to stretch. And that's why there is the saying, time flies when you're having fun. Fun means what? There is that complaining person is not there. That mind has been, the mind has been given a pacifier and put to bed. And then, or it is sucking its thumb, whatever it's doing. And then, it's not complaining because the pleased self is out. And the pleased self is meeting what? An object that is bringing it out even more. Of course, the object is finite, but even for that length of time, one says, after meeting an old friend, after a reunion, what do you say? I don't even know how time went. Time just stopped. Nobody says that when one is sad, mind you. When one is sad, nobody says that, time has stopped. I didn't even know time going by. In fact, you're aware of every creaking, clicking second, everything. When is this day going to end? It's interminable. Because I am not with my nature. When my nature is now. Sat, I am. Sat, I am. Satyam, Jnanam, I know I am. And then Anantam, I know I am now. Yeah. That now can never be denied. It's like that shopkeepers, one shopkeeper opened a shop And in India, this is a big problem. They bargain. They want, even if they go to a big shop, they like to feel like they have haggled for the price, and they like to say, I live right here, and look, I'm wearing a nice sari, so I come from a good household, so I'll give you the money tomorrow, like this. So he put a board. What did it say? Cash today, credit tomorrow. So whoever went in with the idea of what? Getting credit would look at the board and say, oh, I have to come back tomorrow. And then they came back tomorrow. The tomorrow was what? Today. Tomorrow never comes. There is a saying, tomorrow never comes because tomorrow is always today. Tomorrow is the today of later, really. That's why tomorrow never comes. If you are in the today, tomorrow never comes. In other words, there is no future. Only now, 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 now. So what does Satyam Jnanam Anantam means? I know I am in the now. That's the meaning. Oh, that's kind of nice. Yeah. But when I'm in when I cry about the spilt milk of the past, that is also now, correct? You're not crying then, you're crying now. Because I have the tears to prove it. I can squeeze your own hanky in front of you. It's not a dry hanky that has been shed then. It is a wet hanky from now. No, but what about if I worry about the future? That's also happening when? Now? Now, 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 I am 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 now, I am, now I am. And you can change the accent. I am now, now I am. I now am. Meaning finally. I am now. Am I now? Can keep changing it around, but it does not negate it. The now, 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 now. I now am. This is what Satyam Jnanam Anantam simply means. I now am. But what am I? And we slowly whisper the word Ishvara. Yeah. If I now am is understood, what is the only thing that is I, that is now, and that simply is? Without anything to compete with, without anything else, without anything to shrink it, without anything to overpower it, that which always is in its own way, and that because of which everything else borrows the isness. What is that thing? What is that? It has to be a conscious being. You cannot say it is some, dead tree stump lying over there, sideways. You cannot say that. Because knowledge, if it's all knowledge, because everything, if it is the source of everything, it is all knowledge. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Not omnivorous. Okay, yeah, that we have to stop. It's one omni we don't use. Okay. And so, this omnipresence includes my presence, correct? Yeah. Because I am is included in the amness of this omnipresence, which also can say I am. That's Ishvara declaring its own, itself. So my presence is included in this omnipresence. And my knowledge of myself and my knowledge that I of my own existence is included in this omniscience. And then my desire forever, that now, which is unknown yet sometimes, in the process of the knowing, Satyam and Jnanam are understood. This Anantam is a big stumbling block. So you can say, if the now is not understood, you convert it as a step for understanding into the desire forever. The forever desire forever. And so that desire forever is expressed as limitless from the standpoint of the total. From the standpoint of the individual, Sat Chit Ananda, I now am limitless. But that is too, if that is too much, I now am, simple. Now, I am now. Now is limitless. And from the standpoint of the total, because we are no longer, when we talk of am and now, we are talking of existence, not of this existent being, because this being is just an expression of a being that is all existence. So therefore, now we are talking of the total, because this being, which I call I, is not just a body-mind-sense complex, along with a few other complexes, thrown into some kind of a vacuum. This being coexists with other beings, plural. But then there seems to be an interesting thing, because in and through all these beings, there seems to be a thread of unity. Can we dare say oneness? All of them breathe. Praniti breathes. All of them, have certain things in common. And if they are human beings, all of them have complexes. All of them are running around in circles. All of them are ignorant. All of them have the desire forever. Wait a minute, there is an order. Could it be that all these beings are just expression of that being which is just beingness, which is called Satyam Jnanam Anantam? You are also Satyam Jnanam Anantam, but that is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, from the standpoint of the total. From the standpoint of the total, we say that this being is the expression of the whole, and I am, I am the whole. I'm not part of the whole because it is impartite. It's a partless whole. I am that whole. I am a manifestation of that whole. That wholeness, I am. And first, to assimilate this, first I say my presence is included in the omnipresence. There is no presence but that omnipresence, and if I say that I am included in it, my existence is included in that. Then we go to Jnanam. My self-awareness is included in all knowledge, all awareness of everything. And then that I am now, that my nature is now, is expressed on the total level as that limitless consciousness, not limited by anything else, not limited by something like itself, not limited within itself, outside itself, not limited size-wise, space-wise, time-wise, not limited at all. So this limitless consciousness with the status and epithet of the one who is in charge of the whole manifest universe, meaning the manifester. Why just manifester? De-manifester also. Yes. Manifester and de-manifester is Ishvara. And who am I? The one with a festering wound. I am also a festerer, Why only Ishvara? I have the festering wound of self-ignorance, self-injury, self-flagellation, self-sabotage. This is my lot. This is my lot. So what to do now? So therefore this teaching is very imminent. We have to understand the nature of this Ishvara, and this Ishvara is unfolded as the truth of oneself. Or if we take it this way, how the Upanishad is going, you are, the nature of you is unfolded as nothing but the cause of the universe. That cause is causeless. And that it is an equation. It is not something that is, just dropped out of the sky and you have to believe it. Words have dropped from the sky and it just came into somebody's mind and it is just a matter of belief. Not at all. It's an equation to be unfolded and understood, where each side has to be derived separately. Like if a, fourth grader is told 5 plus 4 is equal to 100 minus 91. Oh my God, what is that? Yes, I believe you, teacher. No, that's not going to work. You have to derive the equation. You have to actually count 5 plus 4 on this side. You don't have to be intimidated by the single digits and the plus sign on one side and the double digits and the minus sign on the other side. You have to go past that intimidation and you have to derive 5 plus 4, okay, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, one hand gone, okay. Thankfully it's only 4 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, I'm thinking I'm getting 9. 100 minus 91, oh, that's very difficult. 0 minus 1, how to do, No, that's not 0, then that 1 has to be carried over and actually it's 10 minus 1. Oh. And if this becomes 10, that other 0 becomes 9. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, that's how you do the minus, yes. Because it's a seeming 0. It's not really a 0. So 10 minus 1 is what? 9. Oh, but here also 9. And what is there? 9. Oh, so they are one and the same. Yes, different expressions of the same, thing that is derived. Same. So that 9 here is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That is the derivation. That is the sum here. Yeah. Satyam Jnanam Anantam is the result of operation, this side or that side. The sides look different. This side looks different because it is Pakshapata, it takes sides. So that's why it looks different. And that side looks different because it has no sides at all. Yeah. And not understanding this, they keep this knowledge on the side. And they think I have other pursuits to go for. What to do? Do it side by side. Okay? Yeah. That's all you can do. Enough of sides. Now, so make this a main dish, alright? First do it side by side and then grow towards making it into a main dish. One pot khichdi. Yes. So now what shall we do? This equation, this is the expression of the equation. So the sum that is derived, 5 plus 4 here in the example, and 100 minus 91, both of them is what? 9. But the equation is expressed like this. You can't say 9 is equal to 9. That's not an equation. That's not an equation. An equation has an apparent difference that is hiding an underlying unity, oneness, identity. And so here, 5 plus 4 is our fellow, our quintessential seeker who's been an infinite seeker instead of the seeker of the infinite. And who says, my little house, my little life, my little spouse, my little mouse, pet mouse, and my little everything. And in that little bit of moksha, the person is seeking. Correct? This is the 5 plus 4 fellow. And then 100 minus 91, there what to take away from that? Oh my God, 100. Purnaha, Purushaha, omniscience, omnipresence, telekinesis, this, teleporting, that, this. This fellow is just saying, what am I? I'm just this small expression, 5 plus 4, is just a little, single digit fellow. And there, this triple digit entity, because of whom I am, I thought I am because. But then, because both are 9, I am revealed. The because has now become the cause. Because is revealed as the cause. Why, this little fellow thought, I am small. The small is revealed as all. And again, what was the third thought of the little fellow? At best I am odd, revealed to be nothing but God. This is what the whole thing is. And so this expression has to be understood. You cannot say, I don't believe it. It's not, who cares whether you believe or not? You cannot say, I don't believe that the earth is round. You know? Just go have a samosa. That's all we can say. Because you don't like round things, have something triangular. That's all you can say. Go eat a samosa, don't bother. Who cares whether you believe or not? No, everybody believes. You know, that is what happened to Ptolemy. Poor Ptolemy was the first one who said, Greek Mahatma said the earth is round. And everybody else at that time thought the earth was like a chapati, flat. And everybody else was the topping on this chapati. And then, and people were so enraged. They tied him up and burnt him. This is what it is. That doesn't make it right. The majority doesn't make it. Just because everybody is ignorant and everybody is subscribing to the smallness, giving a lot of money to keep the subscription going, buying into the smallness, life after life after life, doesn't make it true, doesn't make it real. So therefore, Kaschid Dhiraha, this is what, the Kathopanishad puts it beautifully. Kathopanishad first has a dialogue with God and says, what you have done, Ishvara, is not right. Paranchikhani vyatrinat swayambhuhu parak pashyati nacha antaratman. This is the lament. O Ishvara, swayambhuhu, O Ishvara, what have you done? The Lord has as though destroyed the species, his own species. The Lord has self-sabotaged these human beings. Why? By keeping the eyes out, ears out, ready for multitasking, ready for distractions, ready for just jumping on something or the other. Parak pashyati, only sees what is out. And then what? Na antaratman, antaratmanam na pashyati, does not look within. This is called society. This is called social security, security of the society. This is called comfort in numbers. At least I'm not the only one ignorant. There are other people even more ignorant. This is what is a very precipitous comfort. Kaschid dhiraha. Avritta chakshuhu, amritatvan icchan. One person it takes. One thinking person. Dhira here means thinking person. Everyone else is going with what is easy and what is apparent, swimming downstream. And one person is swimming upstream. And everybody looks and says, ha 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 ha. Look at this foolish fellow. The so-called foolish fellow does not waste the breath to respond to these people, because all the breath is in putting the right effort. Avritta chakshuhu, amritatvam icchan, the one dhira, the one thinking person of right enquiry, not improper enquiry, the correct enquiry, has the courage to go against this grain. And that is what it takes here to understand this truth. Just because everybody says this smallness everyone has, what is wrong? As long as there are therapists, we will survive. That's not the idea. This is not putting a band-aid on a gaping, ageless wound. This is about going to the source of the wound and seeing oneself finally as not wounded at all. The wound was actually a distortion of my own vision. There is no wound, and here I have been buying lotions, potions and salves and keeping on putting on something that was not even a problem. The wound is a projection of my own dejection. The one has to understand this. And that is how the equation is resolved. That is how the apparent differences are resolved. You are not trying to wrest the power from Ishvara and become all-knowing, everything. That would make this Vedanta into New Age. This is what New Age is. New Age also says I am God, and therefore I should be able to manifest a few bars of gold. And then, bars of gold don't come, and a New Age person gets depressed. Why? Because they have raised the bar. This is what it is. And you can't manifest. Why? Because you cannot confuse the realities. It's not that you have to let go of this body in order to understand this teaching. Jivan Mukti means remaining in this iffy body full of complexes. You can still say, I am free. Remaining in a difficult body, and of course a never-mind mind, one still says, I am free. All I am is just free. Why? Because I have disconnected the identification from the body, from the mind, from everything finite, and I have walked over the I. This is where the mind is useful. The mind, before the ahankara was catching the mind and playing with like a dog toy, but now, it was shaking it about. Ahankara had become the slave of the mind. Now the mind ushers the ahankara to take its place where the seat of the I, which is I for Ishvara, the cause of the universe. More we shall see on Tuesday, this particular class. But come after 2 hours for the other class. Today that class will be a short class because some Shivaratri celebrations are there. Do you want to tell our Shivaratri celebrations what is happening? Tomorrow 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock in the morning.
6 to
on
7
live stream.
On live stream only, not on this one, because we have to bring the camera into the shrine room, and so to have computer camera, all this will be a little difficult. So tomorrow morning, whichever time it is for you, our morning tomorrow, 6 o'clock is on live stream. Tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, 5:30.
6 p.m.
But you can come at 6. 6 o'clock tomorrow evening is on Adobe only. So tomorrow evening, our evening, Adobe. Tomorrow, our morning, live stream. Okay? Yeah. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.